Okay, so till now we have learned about the basic about the PF track, right? So everyone has practiced. Anyone is having any doubt, any question to ask on PF track? Guys, did you practice?
No, sir. Actually, the thing is that I tried installing 2-3 times, but it's showing some kind of error in the tracking part.
Where it's showing license part?
Yeah. Just a second.
Yeah.
Can I share the screen?
Yes.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
So here. Yeah. So here, according to that video they provided, I have to do something here, but this is what it's coming.
Okay, the application has encountered a fatal error. So that is not a license error. I think that is something error is different. Okay, say no. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, fine. So go back.
Where to the correct folder?
No. The pixel form. One step back.
Yeah.
Open this license file.
Actually, I just changed here. They asked to change the host ID, so I did it, but it's not working.
Maximize it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else is written, right? Only these things are written, right?
Yeah. I think I can re-download
just
the zip
see
file. Yeah.
See, just check that here it's written maybe any formatting you have changed or something else you have done.
No. I just changed this host ID according to the video.
Only the host ID, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or something else in that step is written where that step file is there. Show me that. Sorry? Step file.
Yeah.
Step files.
Here it is.
Okay. So this is correct.
Yeah.
So by install file, open install file.
Okay, this wasn't other language. I'll just do one thing. Maybe I'll just re-download the setup and I'll try one more time. If it not happen, then I'll ask you tomorrow. We have one session, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Anyone else is having any problem? Okay. So today we'll see how we can track any object. If suppose we want to track only one object, right? Particular site, suppose I want to play something on that, or I want to replace that particular thing, then how will I do, right? So here in almost all the tracking software has the object tracking, okay? So we'll create a new project, say object tracking, okay. And what I'll do is the first thing I'll import the footage. So I have this footage is there. Right, so you can see this file, right? So if I play, you can see that this is having something, a CD I have taken it. Now what I want to do is I want to replace this CD, right? This whole thing with different, right? So how we'll do that, right? So one option is that we track it and we do it, right? So that is the big option. So what we do is, if we want to track only the particular thing, not all the whole scene, right? So what we can do is we can track only this portion, right? So what we have to do is we have to track an object, right? So for this we need different geometry to be there, okay? So what I'll do is now I'll recall the geometry. So file, say import tracking geometry, okay? So I want to import a tracking geometry. So you can see this, I have in reference file, I have one 5-inch plane for the CD cover. So it will just support OBJ file. Okay. So I have like other files. So I have this OBJ file. I'll open it. Now my OBJ file has come, right? So now what I have to place it on top of this frame, right? So what I'll do is you have those two options out there, right? Fly camera, none, translate, rotate, what you want to do, right? So first thing I'll do is rotation. Okay, so that you can see. Then in the right column, you have smooth, faced, wireframe mode, hidden line mode, transparent mode, or weight mode. So I'll go with the transparent mode so I can see the both the things, right? Okay, fine. Now I have this. So what I'll do is I'll try to arrange, right? Okay. Now scaling, I'll reduce the size, translate, go and do the translation. Okay, still it is bigger. So I'll scale it little more. Okay, a little bit of rotation is needed. Okay, translate. Right, try to adjust any one portion, right? Any one side you can adjust. So I'm like I'm arranging this side. Okay. So once your object is set, like approx data is set, right? So what you can do is now you can go ahead, right? So again, you have option for weight minus weight plus is there. This is like TCTR is there, right? I want to do the like center manipulator on from the center you I want to manipulate or allow only the transformation I want to allow, right? So I can on it fly camera mode, pin mode. So I can drop my pins here, right? And I can move my pins from the help of the pin I can move, right? So that also I can do, right? I can have pin setup is there, right? So I can move the pin from here, right? So what I'll do, I'll set up the pin portions. Right, so I'll try to adjust the with the help of pin, little bit of distortion shape is there. Okay, just near about is fine, right? So with this, I think this is maximum is the fine, right? Okay, almost it is covered, right? Little bit of this is a little outside is there, fine. Okay, so adjust one, it is you have adjusted fully, right? So this is the whole options are there to adjust it, right? Then you have a how you want to see. Then when you are doing the spinning method, then you have the TRF is there. What you want to do? You want to rotate only the skew want to do, right? So that you can change it, right? Then you have a focal length that you want to change it, right? That also you can change it. Depth you want to change it, that also you can do that, right? And the last one is this one is the interpolate between the backward and the forward. So I don't have anything, so that is why it is no need. So now I can do is tracking. So this is the geometry track options are there. One step backward from current to back, one step forward from current to back. So where you place the object that will be highlighted with the cyan color, right? So this is the term, okay, here you have imported a geometry and you have adjusted, right? So what I'll do is I'll say track geometry forward, right? From the current frame to the last frame. So click it, it will start tracking the geometry. You can see this, that, okay, it is almost I say 70 to 80, 90%, 80 to 90%, it is tracking perfectly. Some portions are only changing. Okay, so now you can play and check. Right, it looks good. So now what I can do is I can export this file to new Maya file. Okay, so it will, I can export this to Maya file, and there I can put any object there. Let's say I'll say I want to export to the Maya file, right? Export group camera. This full thing it will export, right? So I'll say save. So it will ask for the object.ma. It will save, right? So I have saved it. So it's there in the desktop. Track. Now open your Maya. So you will find that there the scene is totally the camera will come, and this with that movement will come. So let it load first. Okay, so here you can see this, you have the PF track data is there. Right, everything is right. So you have that camera information is there, how the things are moving, right? So that information is also there. Right, so one more thing I'll see. Tracking geometry, you want to do yes or no? So select this camera, go to the attribute editor. I told you to change the far clip plane. Right, so this has come on the top of it, right? So when I'm playing it, so you can see this. There is a plane is there. And so now with the help of this plane, I can keep any of the object, whatever I want to keep it. So this is the best thing I want to, what we can do is, right? So this is how we can easily place any of the object, whatever we want, we can easily place on this object, right? So this is the useful of the tracking when we are tracking the object, right? So when we are tracking object, we can easily do that. Okay. So this is one of the method where we directly track, where we directly place the object, and we can easily bring it to the Maya, and you can place it the object. One more object, one more things we what we can do is right. If you say, I'll say obj track 2 control I. Okay. Now suppose I want to do this with the tracking method, right? I want to do the tracking first and then the geometry and everything. So what I can do, I'll go ahead and say directly track my auto features. So I'm not adding any manual point, okay? So quickly I'll go to the track key and say, I don't want those red point. Okay, fine, do pass is fine. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll say solve camera. Okay, automatic, fine, start. I know it will not come very good, but yeah. So fine, somewhat in between it is fine. Okay. So I have this track point is there, right? So now what I have to do is I have to select a point which has the least error. Right, distance from the camera. Okay, so I can select any one point and say set as origin. Okay, so let it rotate. Okay, fine. Now what we can do is we can directly go to the modeling and say new primitive. Okay, when we say new primitive, I can add a primitive. So I want to add a primitive, say my this plane I can easily add, right? So I can click and bring that plane here. Okay, now that plane has came. Okay, so what I can do is I can go new primitive and say draw this here. Okay, now you will find that, okay, again with this method, when we are bringing the primitives, I have another same options are there. I have hidden line, smooth. What you want to see? You want to see smooth, hidden line, transparent. I'll say transparent. I want to see, and say object edit. Don't want to do object edit. What I'll do is I'll go for the vertex edit. Right. So what I can do is I can easily select the vertex and I can easily put it where I want to snap it. Okay, so with this transparency method, we can easily do that, right? So it's up to you. You can use the line, the smooth line, or the wireframe also. So I prefer transparency is there, so I can see what is beside it, right? So this is fine. So I have done my thing, right? right? So I have the edit mesh option is there too. I can edit the mesh also option, right? Or you have a deform edit, you want to change the deform, or object edit, you can change the, you want to skew or something like that, you can easily do that also. So then you have a textured, right? You want to see the textured or something like that. So now my this shape is ready, right? That I have taken it on the first frame, right? So I have this frame. So what I can do is I can say extract texture. Extract texture means what will happen is whatever beneath is there, it will create a copy. Now see, if I'll play, you can see that it is almost following the path because I have arranged the grid. If my grid is 100% perfect, it will always follow the path because where the grid will go, this will follow. Understood, everyone? Right. So this is the things what you can do is now my object is also there, primitive is also there, on that object is there, grid is there, my points are there. So now also I can extract, I can easily uh, export this to the Maya. I get the points, a plane, a grid, object, everything I can get. So there's also options where we can do the things, right? So somewhat sometimes what we do have, like we have a 3D object, right? So we can easily take the, say, new primitives, we can say a box, and then we can reshape it with the how that box look like or the circle or the cone. So whatever you can use, and you can make that things done. So once that is done, automatically that will be placed there, right? And then you can easily navigate through the options. So there's a use of the primitive, right? You have a lot of options out there. You want to translate, you want to rotate, you want to scale. Again, in the x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, what axis you want to do that, you can easily do that. So you can just turn off y-axis and you can translate only x and z. You cannot translate y-axis, right? So you can turn it on and off. You can easily do that. Clear? So there's also options where you can easily utilize the uh, power of the PF track to do the tracking. Clear, everyone? Understood this process, object tracking? So with this, we can do the object tracking or the face tracking. If you have markers on the face, that also you can track it, right? All those things you can track it, right? So suppose if I have a, say, object is there. So say, I'll say face track, okay? So let me bring the footage where the footage is. Okay, so it's here in the D drive. Okay, so this is in the VLC file. Otherwise, we could have taken it. So let me open Nuke and quickly export. HD 1080. Okay, right. Percentage 04D dot. Okay, so I'll quickly render this file. Instead of let it render. You can use any of the media converter also, or even your Adobe Media Encoder also, right? So Premiere also, right? Any of the software you can use it to convert into the image sequence. Okay, so it is done. So let's see. Control I, try users, Rahul, text, text, sequence file. Okay, so this is the file. Okay, so if we play, right, so you can see that there the track points are there on the face, right? So easily we can take this face also, and we can if we want to put any 3D object or something which I have made in the 3D, so that also I can easily utilize it. So let it play once. So not much movement is there, only some little movements are there in the end. Okay, only 1 or 2 points are getting stretched, that's it. But in the beginning it is there because there it is having some, right? So what I'll do is I'll say user feature, right? So we can create a point, track forward. Okay. Now I'll add another user feature on this, track forward. Okay. So getting move. Okay. So remove frame forward. I'll zoom it, make it a little bigger. No, it will try because I think that time it was small, so that is why it is leaving it behind. Okay, so you can always increase the shape, increase the size also. Okay, now select this. Add it here. Make it little bigger. Track forward. It's moving because there is a lot of blurriness is there, right? So go back till here, it was fine, right? So I'll say frame forward. I do for a couple of frames so that when the motion blur is there, it won't have that much problem in the finding it. Okay, now I'll say track forward. It is near to the edge, so I think that is a problem. Sorry. And in between his hand is also coming, so that is also obstructing. Okay. So now I'll add another point in the middle. Okay, so let it complete. Okay, and one more last point I'll add it here, this corner. Let me get this smaller. Too much of motion blur is there. It's working fine. Stop again jumping. Should not jump. Okay, fine. Okay, so I got the 5 points out there. Okay, so let us try to solve the camera now. Okay, and okay, it won't be solving it, right? Because point are less. So what I'll do is I'll add auto tracking to this. So let it finish. Cache file is full, that is why it is running slow. So almost it is getting completed. Now it will come back also. So while coming back, it will be a little faster because it is rechecking those points only. So generally what happens is when you do manual tracking first, so auto tracking will avoid those points which you have already taken, right? So that is the advantage if you do manual tracking before auto tracking. So you can see that some of the points manual tracking is and manual on the manual tracking auto track points are not there, but other areas auto track points are there. Okay, fine. So we got, so we'll go to the tracky, minimize the error. Okay, we got this information, right? So now let's see, solve the camera. Keyframe method automatic, include user feature, auto feature both. Yes, fine. Start. So let's say, let's try to solve the camera. So 3 frames, it's saying it's will add the 3 frames is needed. Okay. So now I got the track solved. Okay. So now you can see that, okay, I have my track point all solved, right? So what I'll do is I'll take one of the points, say feature 1. I'll take feature 1, I'll say set as origin, and I'll rotate it to match the face. Scale it down. Okay, fine. So this is also set, right? Oops. Now what I'll do is I'll go modeling and say primitive, new primitive. Now what primitive should I bring? I'll say I'll bring my square. Okay, so this is my square. I'll say to move. Right, so I'll say transparent first. Vertex, put it here. This vertex, put it here. This, put it here. And this one I'll put it there. Right, I'll say I'll go with the wireframe mode so I can see this. Okay, so now you'll find that it will, most of the portion it will be there. Okay, so this is the one of the portion like where you can, and if you have head geometry is there, then I can bring that, right? Okay, suppose I want to do that, I can bring my geometry track also, or I can say I have modeling, say new primitive, add primitive, I have geometry is there, user, sorry, desktop, I have this head as well, right? So modeling, new primitive, head, I can bring this head, right? Rotate. Right up in the start also, I can bring this geometry and I can do the geometry track. So any of the things is there is fine. So now what I have to do is I have to only adjust this particular object onto the uh, surface, right? So I can go to the 3D. There's a primitive object that I can select. I think I've broken the geometry only. Okay, so I can easily put it into the face and then I can track it. So once that is done, automatically you will find, okay, now this face is there and I can replace it anything, whatever we want, right? So these are the two methods of object tracking. Once you can afterwards adding features, you can do the manipulation, or always the first one is the much better, where you bring the geometry and set the geometry and then track the geometry alone. So that is actually the best portion is there. So that is actually what we prefer when we do the tracking. But after solution, it will won't do. You cannot call it. So you have to do it that in the beginning of the things only. Right? Understood, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what the PF track is. Like you can do the match move and all everything very easily with the help of this PF track, right? So now you know the basics of the PF track, right? So do once practice. So if you have any problem, ask me. Okay. Okay. So tomorrow I'll solve the problem, whatever problems you have. Otherwise, we'll see some more features and your the new versions of the PF track. What is new in the new versions of the PF track? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll finish the workshop tomorrow. Okay, so please do practice on the PF track. If any confusion is there, ask me tomorrow, because tomorrow is the last date for the workshop. Okay, so any problem, anything you want to ask me. Otherwise, we'll finish the workshop tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.